Okay, let's talk project management. Are you working with a blueprint or a checklist? It sounds like a simple question, right? But believe it or not, getting this wrong is one of the biggest reasons projects just fail. So today, we're going to break down the huge difference between what's called process management and progress management.
You know that feeling, right? You've got this perfect plan. Every single step is mapped out. But then, somehow, you're still falling behind schedule, scrambling to hit that deadline. It's so frustrating, and it happens to everyone. But the reason why? Well, it's often way simpler than you think.
So, where does it all go wrong? Well, a lot of the time, the root of the problem is this one really common mix-up. We end up trying to manage the schedule when we should be fixing the actual system. Let's dig into that, because it's a huge deal.
And here's where it gets tricky. We've got two critical types of management: process management and progress management. And yeah, we tend to throw these terms around like they're the same thing, but they are fundamentally different. Think of it this way. Process management is your big picture blueprint. Progress management, that's your daily checklist. And when you confuse the two, you're basically blind to the real problems, which means you can't even begin to find the right solutions.
All right, so let's start with process management. This one is all about the big picture. Seriously, just keep thinking of it as the strategic blueprint for how literally everything gets done, from the very first sketch on a napkin to the final product shipping out the door. It's about designing the entire system from the ground up.
And when I say the whole system, I mean the scope here is just massive. We're not talking about one little part of the job. No. Process management covers the entire journey. We're talking from getting the raw materials to the actual manufacturing, all the inspections, and right through to the final delivery.
So what does a process manager actually do all day? Well, they're the ones asking the really big questions, like what are our actual goals here? Do we have the right people and equipment for this? How can we make this entire production flow smoother and more efficient? And here's the crucial part. When something goes wrong, they don't just slap a Band-Aid on it. They dig deep, find the root cause of the problem, and fix the system itself so it doesn't happen again.
Okay, so that's the blueprint. Now, let's flip the coin and talk about progress management. If process management is that grand blueprint, think of progress management as the daily checklist. Its whole job is to make sure you're actually following that blueprint and doing it on time.
The magic words here are tracking deviations. That's it. Progress management is just constantly comparing your plan to what's happening in reality. It's asking one simple question, again and again and again. Are we on schedule? And if the answer is nope, its job is to sound the alarm and to do it fast.
And just look at how different these tasks are, right? This has nothing to do with redesigning the whole system. This is purely tactical, on-the-ground stuff. It's all about checking in, keeping an eye on the timeline, and making those quick, in-the-moment adjustments. Like, hey, let's shift this task to tomorrow, or let's move someone from Team A to Team B, to stop a tiny little delay from snowballing into a full-blown crisis.
All right, so we've got our two definitions. Now it's time for the big aha moment. Let's put these two side by side, because this is where it's all going to click. You're about to see exactly why getting them mixed up causes so many headaches.
Look, if you only remember one thing from this whole explainer, make it this right here. Process management manages the entire project, the system, the how we do the work. But progress management, it just manages the schedule within those processes. It owns the clock, the when of the work. It's like one person is in charge of building the entire highway, and the other is just in charge of the bus schedule on that highway.
And this breakdown really lays it all out. Just look at the purpose. Process management is proactive, right? It's trying to improve the whole system to make things more efficient in the long run. Progress management is reactive. It's all about spotting and stamping out immediate schedule fires. So yeah, they both want to deliver on time, but they approach it from completely different angles.
And honestly, this one sentence says it all. Progress management is a part of process management. It sums it up perfectly. You just can't have good progress management if you don't have a solid process to begin with. Your checklist is completely useless if the blueprint is a mess. So, progress management lives inside the bigger world of process management. It's an absolutely vital tool for sure, but it's still just one tool in a much bigger toolbox.
Okay, so theory is great, but how do you actually use this stuff? Let's get practical. We're going to look at some frameworks you can start using like today to improve both your big picture blueprint and your day-to-day checklist. So for your blueprint, your process management, the PDCA cycle is an absolute powerhouse. It's super simple. First, you plan. Figure out your goals, map out your tasks. Then you do. You execute the plan, but you make sure to jot down any issues that pop up. Next, you check. Compare how things actually went against your original plan. And finally, you act. You implement improvements and make the things that worked the new standard. But here's the real magic. It's a cycle. It never stops. You don't just create the blueprint and walk away. You are constantly refining it, making it better with every single pass.
And what about that daily checklist? Your progress management? Well, here are 4 keys to really mastering it. First, break down those giant scary tasks into small, manageable steps. It makes it so much easier to track, and you actually feel like you're getting somewhere. Second, talk to each other. Constant, transparent progress reports mean everyone knows what's going on, no more silos. Third, make it crystal clear who owns what. When everyone knows what they're responsible for, things just don't get missed. And last but not least, visualize everything. Seriously, a simple chart or diagram can help you spot a potential delay weeks before it blows up into a crisis.
So let's bring it all home. The next time a project starts to go off the rails, stop and ask yourself this one question. Is this a problem with our blueprint, or is it a problem with our checklist? Just understanding that difference is the first real step to asking the right questions and actually solving the problem. Because at the end of the day, you can't fix a broken system if all you're doing is staring at the clock.